Hi, it's Holly McKean here, and I'm just going to do this video of how to set your ramp hold program. But I thought I should show you first. I'm just unloading a cone 6 firing, and so these are all of my cone 6 stoneware glazes that I have figured out exactly the right top temperature um, and formulations to be able to fire them all together. That's a new one, I like that. Anyway, and I also, so that's my cone 6 firing, and I also do cone 10 crystalline. If you've seen my Facebook page or my website, there's lots more on there. So these are a hot cone 10. So, and that's my kiln log. We'll talk about that as well. So let's do this. First, a bit about the cones. Cones in every firing, and it's taken me some time to get to get them all sorted out. So I'm getting exactly what I want out of the firing schedule I've got them in. These are the cones that just came out of this firing. So cone 6 is down, just a real hot cone 6, down and even over a little bit. I put them up on little blocks so that you can see when they touch, there's a little bit of lag time where you don't see what's happening. So if they're up like that, you can see if they just touched or if they're right over. And then I put a cone 7 with them, and I like to see cone 7 just starting to bend around 1 o'clock. This is my cone 10 and 11 cone pack from my crystalline firing. I want cone 10 real hot and down, and I want cone 11 coming over to 3 or 4 o'clock. So that's what I have the programs in here to make it happen. So right now we're at 98 degrees. It's still a little warm because I took it out. I want to start with, most of you use the cone fire mode, and you just press that and it gives you can put in whatever cone you want and off you go. I like to be able to tell it exactly what I want to do. So the ramp hold mode is what we're going to use. At the end, you'll have a readout that tells you exactly how long that entire firing took. And I log that number, like today's was 15 hours and 56 minutes. I log that in my kiln log with every firing. So I can see if for some reason the same schedule is taking longer, then I know there's something going on in there. So that information coupled with what my cones say tells me exactly how my kiln is firing at any time. So let's do an easy little ramp hold program to start. And what the ramp hold function gives you is the temperature you're going to go up at or down, and to what temperature you want to take it to, and if you want to hold. So there's 3 steps to every ramp. So if we wanted to do just a short preheat, or maybe we want to candle something. So I've got a load I want to put in the bisque tonight, but it's still a little bit cool to my cheek, so I know it's not quite dry yet. So I might load that bisque firing this morning, and then let's just make a little ramp program for that to candle it all day. So I just want it to come up slowly and then stay around 150 degrees for 4 or 5 hours. So we press ramp program number. So I'm going to pick number 6 for this. Well, actually, let's pick number 3. I've got programs in here up to number 5. Number 3 is my preheat. So put in number 3 and enter. Segments, just one segment. So if that wasn't there, I'd press 1 and enter. And that segment, 80 degrees per hour, rise up to 140 degrees, 45 degrees. If we wanted to change that, we could make it 160 and enter. And now hold, that was my preheat I was using the other day, so that was 30 minutes. So let's change that to 4 hours. Enter, alarm, and complete. So if we want to review that, program 3, segments 1, ramp 1, 80 degrees an hour, up to 160 degrees, hold for 4 hours. No delay, there's where the alarm goes, and we're on. It'll also give you a cost feature. I haven't got that built in. So that's a simple program. That's all we're doing. So let's do a cone 6 firing. And I already have mine in there, so instead of punching it in for each one, I'm just going to walk us through it. So ramp program number 1, and this is my cone 6, enter. Segments 7, I would punch in 7. If you're just doing this now, so you punch in 7, enter. Ramp number 1, 80 degrees per hour, up to 150 degrees. Now I do a little preheat on all of my glaze firings. So I put in however much time I want to preheat for, maybe 45 minutes. Now ramp 2, 250 degrees, up to 1,000 degrees. Have you heard about slowing down a bit to go through the inversion with no hold? So between 1,000 and 1,300, you slow down a little bit. That's the inversion, and you don't want to roar right through there if you don't have to. So at 1,000 degrees, ramp 3 is 160 degrees per hour, up to 1,300 with no hold. So each ramp has those 3 steps. Ramp number 4, we're going to speed back up again to 275, that was, up to 1950, and no hold. Now when we hit 1950, I'm going to slow down a bit. I like to go slower. Ramp 5, only 80 degrees per hour rise. For that last couple hundred degrees, up to 2,200 degrees. Now 2,200 with a little hold gets me cone 6 right down. If I go up slow at 80 for that last couple hours. So 200 degrees, hold for 10 minutes. Ramp 6, now here comes the controlled cool. You don't have to control your cool when you come right out of that top range. So I just go down fast at 350 degrees per hour, down to 1950, and then a 10-minute hold there, which isn't really necessary. I just do that. And then I slow right down now to 150 per hour to slowly come down to 1,500 degrees. And no hold there, but that's the end of the firing. So that's the end of my 7th ramp, and we're done. There's the alarm, complete and idle. So if we review that one, program 1, 7 ramps. First one's 80 degrees up to 150 degrees and hold 45 for preheat. Then 250 up to 1,000, no hold. Then 160 up to 1,300, no hold. Then 275 up to 1950 with no hold. Now 80 degrees an hour up to 2,200 with a 10-minute hold. Now we're going to do the slow cool down to 1950, and now 150 degrees an hour, nice and slow, down to 1,500. So that's my cone 6 schedule. And in my kiln, it gets us that result on the cones and this result in the glazes. So if I'm any hotter than that, I'll get blistering or bloating, especially since this is all B-Mix cone 5. It doesn't like to go any hotter than that. If I get a little bit hotter, I'll get some blistering, especially in that blue. That likes to blister if it gets just a tiny bit hot. So if it did, I could play with that ramp hold mode and bring it down to 2195 degrees for my top temperature instead of 2200. And I could change that top hold from 10 minutes down to only 5 minutes. And that will bring my heat work back just a little bit. So that's how you can fiddle around with your different programs. So on the Orton cone chart, what does it say? Let me see. Cone 6, 2232 in Fahrenheit. Now that's typically if you're going, I think, is that at 180? Anyway, so the Orton cone chart says that I'm going to want 2232 Fahrenheit, but you saw mine goes 2200, and I get cone 6 right down, cone 7 tipping. And that's because I'm going up slow in that 80 degrees. So if you get Mastering Cone 6 Glazes, he's got a good little bit in there about setting up your kiln to fire, and the slow firing schedule as well. I hope that's helpful. If you have any questions, just throw them out there, and and I'll answer them or do up another follow-up video if that helps. Thanks. Bye.